Here's an urgent alert from the Student Loan Hotline. The average student loan debt is $25,000. Have you been out of college for 10 or more years and you're still making your student loan payments? If you are struggling with paying off your student loan, if you are past due, we can help. Nationwide Student Loan Relief can now restructure your student loans. We can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop harassing collection calls, and even eliminate your student loan payment. If you can't afford your student loans, or if you're past due and you need help, you must call right now. We will restructure your loan or your money back, and that's a guarantee. So call the Student Loan Hotline right now. 800-949-8707. 800-949-8707. 800-949-8707.
Sports professor Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard, trillion-dollar sports business. We're going inside this week with a serious show that doesn't take itself too seriously, but how can it not? We've had the first 2 weeks of the NFL season, some thrillers, some snoozers. Major League Baseball continues with the wild card to keep a few teams in the race, if only for one game in the beginning of October. NHL camps opening, NBA camps soon to follow. The playoffs in the other sports, the FedEx Cup and the NASCAR playoffs. Clearly, tennis majors are over, but that doesn't mean they sleep. And interesting stuff today, obviously, the 15 topics plus the 5 tech. If you want to get them in the order we present, please log on to CSN Mid-Atlantic and join us on Google Play, Stitcher, Audio Boom, our Apple podcast, and all the places you can normally get us. We're there. We will continue to be there. Got a very interesting show today. We're going to start with a theme that wraps philanthropy into technology, into racing, and some of the issues that are involved in all of that, because they're all related. We have a special interview for you. Then we'll get into some of the big issues surrounding the normal sports, let's call it, at the beginning of the week after the interview. The interview is an interesting one. It's Mae Jemison. We'll tell you who she is if you don't already know in a couple of minutes. It's called a tease. But our first real big topic ties into sports, technology, and philanthropy. You know, an interesting piece of all of this is the marriage between the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and Group 1001, the insurance conglomerate that Dan Towers has created, as well as the Indy Women in Tech Championship, which Lexi Thompson won last week. There is no doubt that technology and STEM and robotics are all really important, and sports philanthropy takes a major front seat as it relates to all of that. Well, one of the things that Major League Baseball has done is taking the whole idea of the robotics to another level.
We're going to take a short break, but when we return, more Rick Horrow, the sports professor.
Do you use the blue pill to charge your sex life? Have you been thinking about trying the blue pill? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pill delivers the exact same results for less than $3. We'll do the math for you. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. Want more? We'll give you 40 blue pills or 40 yellow pills for $99 and add 4 more pills free. You save more than $500. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know what to do next. You need to call and get your 44 pills for just $99. Stop overpaying for the other blue pills. Call us and start saving a ton of money for the exact same results. Ordering is fast and easy with your pills delivered to your door in a non-marked package. 800-223-0992. 800-223-0992. 800-223-0992. That's 800-223-0992.
If you are age 85 or younger, Call to learn more about final expense plans from a licensed agent in the Angel Care Network. The average funeral now costs over $10,000. Are you at risk of leaving loved ones to help pay your debts? A final expense policy for seniors can pay up to $30,000 for funeral and other final expenses. You don't need a medical exam, and you can have lifetime coverage, and the policy cannot be canceled. To receive free information about final expense plans from a licensed agent in the Angel Care Network, call now. You'll also receive information about a free prescription discount card just for calling in. Agents are standing by.
Call 800-508-5774. 800-508-5774. 800-508-5774. Call now. That's 800-508-5774.
The sun can make your outdoor deck and patio space so hot and uncomfortable you can't use it. But now there's the Sunsetter Retractable Awning. A Sunsetter Retractable Awning opens and closes in just 60 seconds, and it keeps your patio about 20 degrees cooler. It provides instant shade and protection from the sun's harmful rays. You can get your Sunsetter for as little as $5.99 when you call now to get your special $200 discount certificate and free awning idea kit. You're going to love your Sunsetter Retractable Awning. Sunsetter awnings are assembled in America and guaranteed to last. So call 800-692-0268 now to get a free awning idea kit with DVD plus your $200 Sunsetter discount certificate. This is a limited time offer, so call 800-692-0268. That's 800-692-0268 for your free awning idea kit with DVD and $200 discount certificate. There's no obligation, so call 800-692-0268 now.
Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard with Rick Horrow. We pick up right where we left off.
Our first real big topic ties into sports, technology, and philanthropy. You know, an interesting piece of all of this is the marriage between the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and Group 1001, the insurance conglomerate that Dan Towers has created, as well as the Indy Women in Tech Championship, which Lexi Thompson won last week. There is no doubt that technology and STEM and robotics are all really important, and sports philanthropy takes a major front seat as it relates to all of that. Well, one of the things that Major League Baseball has done is taking the whole idea of the robotics to another level. A 7-year-old girl born with Poland syndrome, a rare disease that caused her to lose the 3 middle fingers of her right hand, has been booked to throw out the ceremonial first pitch for Game 4 of this World Series, October 28th, a big game, obviously. Haley's mom, the girl's name is Haley Dawson, said that she was hoping to get Haley into as many games as possible. Now with the regular season winding down, the confirmation is that she will throw out the first ball in the 4th game of the series. She's an inspiration to anyone born with or experiencing a disability, and thanks to the new robotic limbs available to doctors to use in their patients today, Haley's story has been made possible. Sports, philanthropy. Remember our show, Power of Sports. You can find it every month. Check your local listings. But the other tie is the philanthropy that sports deals do. The Indy Women in Tech Open 2 weeks ago, incredibly successful, and now Group 1001 doing its next evolution. Starting in 2018, Zach Veach will take the wheel of the 26 Honda Indy car as the 4th entry in Andretti Autosport's Verizon IndyCar Series team. He's raced in every step of the Mazda Road to Indy ladder with Andretti Autosports. 22-year-old American driver. He debuted in the IndyCar Series April 23rd at Barber Motorsport Park in Birmingham, Alabama, and he's the 4th driver confirmed to an All-American Verizon IndyCar Series field for Andretti ahead of next season beginning in St. Petersburg, Florida, March 11. Dan Towers, the CEO of Group 1001, Michael Andretti, Zach Veach, a gala press conference and event at the IndyCar All-Star final in Sonoma, the tie-in with the biggest technology company you could say in Indiana, maybe in the country, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the Andretti's, Zach Veach, an up-and-coming charismatic young driver. Group 1001 committed to some of the same values that we bring to this. And the importance of sports and philanthropy can't be underestimated. During the tournament, by the way, one of the keynote speakers was named Mae Jemison. She's not a sports person. She doesn't play in the WNBA, though she's a big Michael Jordan fan and she's a big golf fan. But she gave the presentation to the Women in Tech Foundation the midweek around the Pro-Am of the Indy Women in Tech Open that Lexi Thompson won the week right after Memorial Day. She happens to be, by the way, the first African-American woman in space. She's currently leading a 100-year starship to assure human interstellar space travel to another star within the next century. I have trouble getting around the block. She climbed around aboard the Space Shuttle Endeavour to become the first woman of color to travel into space in 1992. NASA's first science mission specialist, performing experiments in material science, life science, human adaptation, and other things. We caught her at the event. She's written a book called Find Where the Wind Goes for teenagers to explore their experiences. Growing up on the south side of Chicago, she makes a strong statement that you can do anything you want to do. And she used a sports venue to carry the message. Kudos to Dan Taurus, the CEO of the entity that put it together. Kudos to the LPGA, the Indy Women in Tech Foundation, the connection back to Zach Veach. Tying it all together may be the strong power of women and people in sports. And Mae Jemison has a lot to tell us about what she thinks are similarities and differences between being a successful professional athlete and a successful astronaut. Mae Jemison. So, Dr. Mae Jemison, you grew up in Chicago.
Yes, I did.
And you set your sights pretty significantly. But did you ever, when you're growing up, think that you would end up as the first African-American astronaut in space?
So, growing up as a little girl in Chicago, I always assumed I'd go into space.
Interesting.
I never thought that I would be the first African-American woman to go into space. Definitely not the first woman of color in the world to go into space. Why? Because I thought that by the time I was old enough to become an astronaut, that we would have had all kinds of people in space. And in fact, we would have been at Mars or further. So for me, it was a little bit of a surprise. Not that I was going into space, but that there was this platform that developed to be able to use this platform of having been a first.
So Where the Wind Goes is interesting because it is, the bio says geared to teenagers, geared to people who will obviously follow your inspiration and try to be where you were and even farther. So significant pride as you put that book together and reach out to everybody?
When I wrote Find Where the Wind Goes, it was for teenagers because I wanted to do something biographical, not necessarily ready to do the full biography. Okay. But the idea for teenagers was because it's a time period in which people are looking at different things and you're figuring out how far to push the envelope. And I noticed that people would come up and tell me, could you tell my son or daughter to do what I tell them to do and that they have to study hard and they have to follow this path? I'm thinking, this is not who I was. I was one of those kids who, yes, I studied hard and yes, I was very bright and I was student council president and all of those kind of things, but I pushed the envelope really hard. And I was fortunate enough to have teachers and parents who allowed me to use my skills and my talents for good, right? One of the issues that we have these days is that people do not, we want to just say something to teenagers. We just want to give an easy word to kids. But raising children is difficult. It's something that's not the same as their friend. And so I wanted to just try to provide some context for kids, and if teachers and other folks can find some context for it, that's fine. But I wanted to sort of answer this question about, what kind of person could you be like? Because I was not that goody two-shoes who sat in the corner. And in fact, a number of my friends would read these articles about me, and they're like, who in the blue blazes are they talking about here? Because that doesn't sound like you at all. And I think that that's really important. And in fact, it's influenced a lot of the work that I've done, because one of the first things I did after I left NASA was to start something called the International Science Camp, The Earth We Share. And this was back in 1994, and it was about building science literacy. And we worked with teenagers, 12 to 16-year-olds. That's that age group that people don't like to play with, right? Because it's all about discovering and pushing and pulling. And what we wanted to do, again, was to have them use their powers for good, right? So we would give them difficult problems, and we would help to guide them, and we would train teachers to work on guiding them. So the problems were like predict the hot public stocks of the year 2030. This is in 1994.
Were they right? Did they make it?
Well, I think they had different approaches to it, doing global budgets. But the big thing is
we're going to take a short break, but when we return, more Rick Horrow, the sports professor.
Tell the stories of a day you wish you could recover more.
The following update is for drivers who pay too much for car insurance due to DUIs, DWIs, tickets, or anything else. By now, you know all too well that SR22 auto insurance is way more than you'd ever want to pay. You probably thought you didn't have a choice, but you were wrong. Our company specializes in low-cost, very affordable SR22 auto insurance for high-risk drivers. We know that mistakes happen, so take pride in being able to offer absolutely free quotes for this very affordable auto insurance meant specifically for you, the overpaying high-risk driver. We're standing by at 800-758-0725. The only thing you need to do is stop waiting around while your monthly payments stay as high as they are. Our knowledgeable representatives are ready for your call at 800-758-0725. The quote is free, and we'll even handle the filings so you could start saving money every month even sooner. Call 800-758-0725. That's 800-758-0725. Once more, 800-758-0725.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for prescription drugs? Well, we have great news. Now you can finally get prescription drugs at huge discounts from Canada Drug Center. That's right, the most popular drugs for cholesterol, high blood pressure, depression, diabetes, arthritis, and many more are now up to 75% off. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices when you can get brand name drugs at the lowest price? Call today and get up to 75% off all the popular brand name prescription drugs. Never pay high prices again. Get the most popular drugs at huge savings from our Canadian and international pharmacies and fulfillment centers. No insurance? No problem. Prices are so low you do not need benefits or insurance to get all your prescriptions fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting to take your call now. Order today and get free shipping. Just call 800-950-1180. Up to 75% off all the popular brand name prescription drugs and free shipping. Call 800-950-1180. That's 800-950-1180.
In this tight labor market, finding new employees can be tough. Whether you're the business owner or an HR professional, you want access to highly qualified candidates fast. More than 3 million businesses use Indeed.com, the world's #1 job site. Whether you need entry-level or highly skilled employees, no matter the industry, with Indeed you get immediate access to a high-quality pool of talent with no long-term contracts or upfront fees. For a limited time, Indeed is offering new users a $50 credit to make their first job listing a sponsored job, with premium visibility so more candidates will see it. You want to make a great hire fast, and this exclusive offer gives you a head start. Independent research shows 6 times more hires are delivered through Indeed than any other job site, making Indeed your one-stop source for hiring. To redeem this offer, go to Indeed.com/offer. That's Indeed.com/offer. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard with Rick Horrow. We pick up right where we left off.
Could you tell my son or daughter to do what I tell them to do and that they have to study hard and they have to follow this path? I'm thinking, this is not who I was. You know, I was one of those kids who, yes, I studied hard, and yes, I was very bright, and I was student council president and all of those kind of things, but I pushed the envelope really hard. And I was fortunate enough to have teachers and parents who allowed me to use my skills and my talents for good, right? One of the issues that we have these days is that people do not, we want to just say something to teenagers. We just want to give an easy word to kids. But raising children is difficult. It's something that's not the same as their friend. And so I wanted to just try to provide some context for kids, you know, and if teachers and other folks can find some context for it, that's fine. But I wanted to sort of answer this question about, you know, what kind of person could you be like? Because I was not that goody two-shoes who sat in the corner. And in fact, a number of my friends would read these articles about me, and they're like, who in the blue blazes are they talking about here? Because that doesn't sound like you at all. And I think that that's really important. And in fact, it's influenced a lot of the work that I've done, because one of the first things I did after I left NASA was to start something called the International Science Camp, The Earth We Share. And this was back in 1994, and it was about building science literacy. And we worked with teenagers, 12 to 16-year-olds. That's that age group that people don't like to play with, right? Because it's all about discovering and pushing and pulling. And what we wanted to do, again, was to have them use their powers for good, right? So we would give them difficult problems, and we would help to guide them, and we would train teachers to work on guiding them. So the problems were like predict the hot public stocks of the year 2030. This is in 1994.
Were they right? Did they make a?
Well, I think they had different approaches to it, doing global budgets. But the big thing is to engage their interest, and so they learn all about stocks. They learn about science and different types of technology investment, because you're asking them to solve a problem, and then we're asking them to report it out to the public. And wow, there's nothing like peer pressure and motivation to help you move forward. And I think those are the pieces that we have to work on.
High visibility, successful entrepreneur. A lot in common, I think, with many professional athletes. Not that you're going to hit a curveball, but tenacity.
You never know.
Well, I'm not sure. You may. Michael Jordan couldn't, so I'm not sure if you can.
Not a
Michael Jordan could go into space or hit a curveball.
No. So we're conflating. We're mixing things up.
Yeah, we are.
Right?
We're mixing things up deliberately.
So different kinds of skill sets, but it doesn't mean one thing or another. So I liked lots of kind of sports. I liked basketball. Yeah. I liked to play, and I liked soccer and volleyball particularly. But I danced, and people don't necessarily think of dancing as a sport, but it's incredibly athletic.
Yeah, of course it is.
And it's incredibly athletic, and it teaches you the same kind of discipline. Yeah. Right,
well,
that's the piece.
And that's what I'm getting at. The commonalities here, the commitment to a craft, the focus, the entrepreneurialism, the creativity, but the drive to be the best. And I'm trying to figure out what the similarities are between a world-class athlete and a world-class astronaut.
Well, I think all of these things, it's about discipline, right? Sometimes people have an incredible amount of innate talent, but you can't get that talent out. You can't make it happen without the discipline to practice, to think through things, to be willing to put something else off, to be able to do this practice. One of the best questions I was ever asked was by a 12-year-old girl, and she asked me, how did being a dancer help me in the astronaut program? And a lot of people laughed at her, classmates laughed at her. And I said it was just the sheer discipline and the ability to take criticism, the ability to know you have to do your job, right? Even if you're a backup performer, you do your job really well. And so that makes a difference, the ability to rehearse and to study and to memorize things. I think that that's part of it. And you can even go further. So, for example, in medical school, it's an incredible amount of discipline that you have to have, and to be, to be able to get through things and be willing to put things aside in order to work for the good of your patient.
And you're thinking, all right, this guy's not making free throws with 2 minutes left. Imagine what this person thinks in reentry. There's a different stress level when you deal with it. You've been through everything, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And regardless of whether or not you can focus on the task at hand, you're able to deal with a whole lot of things that are well beyond most people's experience level.
Well, I think that we all have the ability to look at things. When I see sometimes, I remember sort of tour de force performances. You mentioned Michael Jordan, but I can't remember. I think it was with Utah. There was a game with Utah where he had the flu, and his ability to get into a zone even with the flu and deliver is something that sometimes you have to do, and you can see different parallels all the way through from docs who work in different places to fighter pilots to people working in nuclear power plants to someone dealing with the emergencies like that just happened in Houston where I live with Hurricane Harvey. It is ability to understand that you focus and you bring discipline to the table and you do the right thing, and you have the ability to set aside certain things from time to time.
Finally, sports and its ability to empower. So we're here with Women in Tech, keynote, and we have a lot of girls, young girls, who are looking up to you, not only the professional golfers, but the STEM, the robotics, the high school, the kids. There's a commonality here between the Indy Motor Speedway, the Women in Tech tournament, and the ability to succeed and the ability to be empowered. So give me an idea of the synergies between all of that.
So here's what I think. I think that a lot of what we see, whether we talk about technology and women in athletics to the motor speedway, has to do with perspective. And the difficulty, I'm going to tell you, is not with the athletes or the students or the women. It's with society and its perspectives. So a lot of the challenges are that you have to overcome society's expectations and very frequently less accommodation and help. So what's really exciting about this is to bring these together and have people think through these things. My message to folks is not just to the girls, but it's to the older males who may be making the decisions about whether or not those girls are going to be their colleagues in academia later on, are to be their colleagues when changing the motor in a car. That's the difference. To the girls, I'll say, don't doubt, dare. That daring makes a difference. That's what we have to do, is understand you have a right to be there.
And finally, you talk about perspective, and it is interesting that we talk about overcoming barriers in life, but you're leading a program that's going to get us to a new star in 100 years. Tell us about that.
100-Year Starship is about making sure we have the capabilities for human travel beyond our solar system to another star in 100 years. It's there because it's really difficult to do. We don't know how to do it. Yet it's in trying to achieve the extraordinary tomorrow that we build a better world today. If we just do those things we know how to do, we'll never reach the heights of things that we could do. We would not have any of the capabilities we have now in many of the STEM fields if we had not tried to do things like understand how DNA is replicated or structured, understand and figure out and actually go to the moon. We wouldn't have had any of those things. And so it's really about trying for the extraordinary Why interstellar? Why go beyond our solar system? Because the challenges to getting beyond our solar system with humans is very similar to the challenges that we face on this starship planet Earth today.
Dr. Jemison, it's incredible. It's an honor. She talks about Michael Jordan with the flu against Utah, but she's going to take us to another star in 100 years. How about that? Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mae Jemison certainly giving us some interesting perspective that you don't normally get, especially this time of year when we're fixated on whether the Washington Redskins are going to win another game or not soon. But the bottom line of all of this is that you've got to deal with sports, entertainment, training, philanthropy, all in the same context, and this is a great example of it. Took some of the stuff out of order today, but let's look at what is going on in a lot of different sports. Again, 15 to watch. Log on to CSN Mid-Atlantic. Some of the highlights are interesting, especially with the Olympics. They're officially returning to the U.S. 2028 Summer Games. The Lima, Peru announcement was anticlimactic after the story first broke that Paris was awarded 2024, although L.A. Mayor Eric Garcetti said it's a huge win for the U.S. And by the way, it's the first time an Olympic Games does not require a single new venue to be built. 2028 Games undoubtedly prove.
We're going to take a short break, but when we return, more Rick Horrow, the sports professor.
Hey travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1780. 855-325-1780. That's 855-325-1780. Nobody really needs or wants home security until it's too late. You've heard the statistics about how many burglaries there are per day. You see the news. You know there are people out there that do bad things. The best way to help protect your home and your property is with an ADT monitored system from Protect Your Home, an ADT authorized premier provider. Call right now to get a free wireless home security system valued at $850. An ADT monitored system can help protect your home from fires, theft, floods, and call for emergency help. Call now to find out more about our $850 free wireless home security system and start enjoying the peace of mind of security today. Call 800-587-4281, 800-587-4281, 800-587-4281. This offer is for new customers only. Termination fees apply. $99 customer installation charge and 36-month monitoring agreement required. All for details. License terms and conditions available at secureathome.com.
Not too long ago, it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank, didn't it? For a vacation or a new car. But today, withdrawing your own cash has become risky. Pat Boone here for Swiss America. According to The Secret War, a new Swiss America white paper, I learned that all banks are now required to spy on you and me for the government, and then report any financial behavior deemed suspicious or unusual. You must read The Secret War. It's free. Truth is, I believe the government's new war against cash is really a war against us all. But the secret is now out. So please, get and read The Secret War.
Pick up your phone and call right now. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. Once again, that's 800-932-5517.
Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard with Rick Horrow. We pick up right where we left off.
We'll never reach the heights of things that we could do. We would not have any of the capabilities we have now in many of the STEM fields if we had not tried to do things like understand how DNA is replicated or structured, understand and figure out and actually go to the moon. We wouldn't have had any of those things. And so it's really about trying for the extraordinary. Why interstellar? Why go beyond our solar system? Because the challenges to getting beyond our solar system with humans is very similar to the challenges that we face on this starship planet Earth today.
Dr. Jemison, it's incredible. It's an honor. She talks about Michael Jordan with the flu against Utah, but she's going to take us to another star in 100 years. How about that? Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mae Jemison certainly giving us some interesting perspective that you don't normally get, especially this time of year when we're fixated on whether the Washington Redskins are going to win another game or not soon. But the bottom line of all of this is that you've got to deal with sports, entertainment, training, philanthropy, all in the same context, and this is a great example of it. Took some of the stuff out of order today, but let's look at what is going on in a lot of different sports. Again, 15 to watch. Log on to CSN Mid-Atlantic. Some of the highlights are interesting, especially with the Olympics. They're officially returning to the U.S. 2028 Summer Games. The Lima, Peru announcement was anticlimactic after the story first broke that Paris was awarded 2024, although L.A. Mayor Eric Garcetti said it's a huge win for the U.S. And by the way, it's the first time an Olympic Games does not require a single new venue to be built. 2028 Games undoubtedly proved to be an economic boon to L.A. as a consequence, just like the 84 Games were. And even better, brands looking to hitch their wagons to the Games will have a decade to watch opportunities unfold. Speaking of the Olympics, though, initial talks are beginning to take place out west. Salt Lake City and Denver are looking to bid for winter 2026. Park City, Salt Lake City hosted about 75 winter championships and World Cup sports events since 2002, so they understand it. And Thomas Bach hopes to avoid a similar situation to the one that arose for the 2022 Winter Games bidding, when only China and Kazakhstan were the only bidders. In the modern era, though, it's clear that the only cities that can truly afford the Olympics' multi-billion-dollar price tag are the ones with the majority of infrastructure already in place. Everything old is new again. Beijing, Paris, L.A., and by the way, Utah may be next. It's a really interesting perspective because if you build the facilities without debt, you have more money for sponsorship and more opportunity for profitable games. That's what 2020 in Tokyo is looking to do. The Tokyo Organizing Committee sold 43 domestic sponsorships worth a staggering $3 billion, blowing past the prior sales benchmark for a single game. The Tokyo Organizing Committee says it's a record number of local sponsors, aiming to increase the value of the games through sponsorship activations. And while this paints a rosy picture, expenses will also rise in Tokyo. The games currently have a $13 billion operating budget, more than double its initial bid. Revenues higher, expenses higher as well, but the take on all of this is the less you have to build, the more opportunity there is to remain profitable. Let's stay on the ice. Let's stay at the NHL, and can't wait for the beginning of next season, Capitals fans and others. And despite the Calgary Flames stopping talk about the potential new arena, the city mayor continues to push toward building a new facility. The mayor is working toward finding a solution that the team approves of while not impacting people's taxes. And, of course, that's always tricky. Tensions between the Flames and the mayor first began when the mayor downplayed the economic benefit of a new arena. And current proposals call for both the city and the Flames to pay about $550 million each, a third of the total cost for each party involved. Ticket surcharge expected to cover the rest. The talks on a new NHL arena have been going sideways, but Calgary certainly has a lot to lose if they let the team go sideways. Very hard to get it back, and if you don't believe so, just ask Atlanta. No problem in Pittsburgh. The world champions, back-to-back world champions, are in the community to thank their fans in a unique way. Genny Malkin and Sidney Crosby are two of the players to hop houses in Pittsburgh, making several stops across the city area, basically surprising the kids, thanking the kids for being involved, and talking about hockey's return in Pittsburgh, even though it's still the summer. 50 lucky season ticket holders are chosen at random and are informed that the player is coming, but they don't receive any notification about who. And the take is, this is grassroots activation at its best. Including young hockey fans is a great way of building a next-generation fan base. Understand it's difficult to talk about hockey to a bunch of Capital fans right now, but they'll get over it and can't wait for the beginning of next season, obviously. Shifting gears again, we focus on other sports as well and focus on basketball. Oakview Group, Seattle, Washington, $600 million arena by October 2020 as part of the renovation process for the entire downtown, hoping to lure an NHL and clearly an NBA team to replace the Sonics. 55-year-old facility of Key Arena is talking about major renovations. The iconic design and preservation is a hotly debated topic. Oakview partnered with billionaire investment banker David Bonderman and Hollywood producer Jerry Bruckheimer to be the people who might be involved in the NHL franchise as owners. And from the Supersonics to the Seahawks and the Sounders, Seattle's long been a great sports city, and it's only fitting the city and its backers are gearing up to add one, not just, but two, maybe, professional sports teams. It's an NHL issue, but clearly an NBA issue as well. Let's stick with the NBA for a second. Who better than the Warriors? They excel at everything they do on and off the court. They just signed a deal for their jersey patch with the Japanese tech holding company Rakuten. The reigning NBA champions have signed the largest patch deal of anybody, $20 million annually, probably, double the Goodyear deal with the Cavaliers. The $20 million annually was not even the most the Warriors were offered. The CMO says they offered some people offered bigger deals, and Rakuten, however, making a splash in the sports world. The deal comes on the heels of signing a $235 million kit deal with FC Barcelona. And my take is this: as the Warriors are in the enviable position of not having to accept an offer from the highest bidder, but rather seeking to find a good fit for their team philosophy and brand. Wizards take notice. And then the final NBA issue this week is structural. The NBA lottery may be reformed. Changing it is possible, but not a slam dunk. Mid and small market teams are arguing that a new policy to discourage tanking would directly hurt their chances of landing a franchise-altering player through the draft. They tried to do this 2 years ago, but it was voted down. 17 owners said, yeah, let's let's change it, but you need 3 quarters. And my take is the NBA strongly discourages this kind of conversation because they don't want to talk about a mindset at the beginning of any season that says we're not going to succeed, we know it, but we're going to do everything we can to try to advance into a position of getting a game-changing player, which is a great idea in the long term, but in the short term, it's not really conducive to a full arena, and everybody knows it. Well, so that's the NBA, and one other item with the NBA, you can't forget Kobe Bryant. The South China Post says that Kobe has joined forces with NBA China and Chinese resort Mission Hills to set up the country's first ever NBA basketball school. Mission Hills released a statement with details on the school, noting it would be open for males and females at the sprawling resort on China's Holiday Island, a goal of completion by 2019. And the development is only the most recent sports engagement for the resort. We had, by the way, also a partnership with FC Barcelona and an academy of tennis with Boris Becker. So the NBA clearly gearing up all over, on and off the court, here and on the other side of the pond. Take a look at some of the things that the NFL is doing today. Clearly, internationally, NFL really important. The bottom line is that there's certain franchises that are stepping out internationally to attempt to make a strong commitment and capture some markets. The Jaguars have adopted London as their second home. Team owner Shad Khan, quick not to rule out the possibility of playing a second London game every year. They get to keep the revenues in their unique deal. They get a lot more revenue for a home game than they would at Everbank Field, 80,000 seats, much more expensive. And at first glance, the move might come as a surprise, but from a financial perspective, it is clear that this does make some sense, especially since almost 20% of the team's revenue comes from the one London game today. They clearly want to continue internationally. Speaking of international, the NFL growing the American game in Europe, NFL Game Pass looking to provide more to its customers overseas. The NFL Game Pass working with Overture, a content venue, to have even more penetration. 5,100 Game Pass subscribers across Europe were surveyed, and they try to build an understanding of what they love about the game, UK, Germany, and otherwise. And as the NFL continues to grow globally, the infusion of technology continues to play a huge role in this expansion. And with new and more convenient forms of accessibility available through technology, organizations such as the NFL are able to grow their brand in ways they may not have thought possible just a few short years ago. Let's end with baseball. And interesting baseball, the Oakland A's, they may have finally found a site for their new ballpark. Stay tuned, but the Laney College site for a 35,000-seat privately financed ballpark seems to be the place to go. 13 acres, and under the most optimistic projections, construction would begin in 2021, completed in time for 2023. The current Coliseum site and Jack London Square were brought up but rejected. $500 million, the total price tag, and then they hope to convert the current Coliseum site into a community sports park and urban youth baseball academy in partnership with MLB. And after negotiating with the College District.
We're going to take a short break, but when we return, more Rick Horrow, the sports professor.
Rebuild or replace transmission, $3,200. Anti-lock brake system, $1,000. Rebuild or replace engine, $2,400. Truth is, once your manufacturer's warranty runs out, it's all on you. Every last cent. Get protection for covered repairs with a vehicle service contract from Toco Warranty. Unlike other companies, with Toco, there's no down payment, and the monthly payments are really affordable. Not sure how long you're keeping your car? At Toco, you can pay as you go. Keep your hard-earned cash and call Toco Warranty right now at 800-222-2313 to save big money on covered auto repairs. Prices vary by vehicle, but for about the cost of a tank of gas per month, a Toco plan has your back on expensive covered car repairs. Monthly payments are very affordable. Get your free quote now. Call Toco at 800-222-2313. That's 800-222-2313. 800-222-2313. Cancellation fee may apply. Subject to eligibility. Not available in Missouri and Washington. Waiting period and deductible apply. Coverage provided and administered by Warrantech Corporation or its affiliates. Not affiliated with any manufacturer or dealership. Visit TocoWarranty.com for complete terms and conditions.
Hi, I'm Dr. Robert Clapper, Chief of Orthopedic Surgery at Cedars-Sinai Medical Group in Los Angeles, California. Dedicated to your health, your life, and your sports. As a weekend warrior, you know about sports injuries and pain. Exercise is an important element in keeping your body's core in good shape to minimize sports injuries. But when you are in pain, there is one product that I recommend to my patients, and that is Blue Goo Gel. Blue Goo consists of a proprietary formula developed specifically for the treatment of inflammation and general muscle aches and strains. I recommend Blue Goo for my patients coping with hip and knee pain before surgery, especially bursitis and tendinitis. Give Blue Goo a try. Call 1-888-330-0123 and you'll receive a 1-week supply of Blue Goo absolutely free. The makers of Blue Goo are even paying the shipping. The number again is 1-888-330-0123. If you want more information on Blue Goo, visit online at www.dothegoo.com.
Now available at select Big 5 stores near you.
When you struggle with credit card bills every month, you're not just in debt. Debt is all around you.
I see people every day that are on the brink. They're going to go over the edge, and at the bottom is bankruptcy, and we pull them back.
At the Debt Helpline, we're experts at helping you resolve your debt problems and become free of debt. We can help you pay off your debt and give you one lower monthly payment that you can afford.
You do get to consolidate your payments. You only have to worry about making one payment a month instead of making 3 or 4 or 5.
If you have $5,000, $10,000 or more in credit card bills, call the Debt Helpline now for a free confidential debt analysis.
800-957-6063. 800-957-6063. Call the CESI Debt Helpline right now for a free confidential debt review. 800-957-6063. 800-957-6063.
Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard with Rick Horrow. We pick up right where we left off.
They hope to convert the current Coliseum site into a community sports park and urban youth baseball academy in partnership with MLB. And after negotiating with the college district to buy or lease the land, the team will have to complete an environmental impact statement. It'll take a while, but at long last, after many false starts, including a San Jose ballpark tech laboratory backed by Cisco Systems, it appears that the A's hunt for a nicer new home may be drawing to a happy conclusion. It ain't over, but stay tuned. Finally, let's go to minor leagues. The Durham Bulls, the AAA affiliate of the Tampa Bay Rays, will become the first minor league baseball venue to host an esports tournament this fall. Between September 29 and October 1, the Bulls will hope to host the first ever DBAP Gaming Challenge. Games played during the competition will include MLB The Show, Call of Duty, Rocket League, Super Smash Brothers, and others. And the Bulls GM Mike Burling said that the organization of hosting this event is really critical. Esports is an industry continuing to grow at rapid pace. We're looking forward to the beginning of the DGC and making it an annual event in Durham at our stadium. $5,000 will be doled out to contest participants, and with the growth and popularity of esports, an increase in events such as these will come as no surprise in the near future. Bottom line is, baseball, like all sports, thinking of creative ways to maximize demographics. Well, that's it for our show today. An interesting perspective from Mae Jemison. I'd like to thank her and all those affiliated with the Women in Tech Tournament, with the Indy Racing organizations, with Andretti Racing and Group 1001 for helping talk about the spotlight on tech and philanthropy on our show this week. We'd also like to thank you guys for tuning in and talking about baseball and basketball and all the sports that continue today and will intensify in the future. And join us next week when we go Beyond the Scoreboard.